As new AI tools become more integrated into businesses, high-profile misfires are proving just how costly automation without oversight can be. And joining us today to provide some of those warnings is McAlister, Executive Business Consultant at ETS Enterprises. Good to see you. What's at the core of these recent AI-related brand crises we're seeing? What's happened?
So what's happening is there's a lot of misfires that are going on with AI. So, for example, there in Australia, Deloitte produced a government report using generative AI that was riddled with fake citations, fictitious footnotes, and even made up court quote. And the firm had to refund about $440,000 in a public apology to correct that error. Something else that happened recently as well was The Guardian had posted a story about a polo coach that had died, was found dead at the school, and Microsoft's AI generated a poll next to the story that asked the question whether people thought it was murder, accident, or suicide. And of course, that caused a public outcry and did some reputation damage for The Guardian.
Yeah, those are some pretty solid examples there, and good recent ones too. But how can businesses safeguard against AI hallucinations, or those, within their content or their reports? Those hallucinations still seem to be the thing that's separating AI from becoming, the silver bullet, if you will.
Yeah. So the biggest thing with hallucinations, you've got to go back and check your references. Even still, if you're going to use an open source, which I strongly suggest that you use a lot of caution using open source AI. But if you're going to use that to try to generate references, you've got to ask for the references and then go back and check the references, because AI has even been known to generate resources or references that aren't even real as well. So you've got to do your follow-up to be able to go through and make sure that everything that you're putting out is accurate.
Yeah, well said. What responsibility do platforms like Microsoft have when AI makes editorial mistakes? There's a few big-name tech companies currently rolling out this information. What responsibility have they got?
Responsibility is they've got to make sure that they're out. There is some oversight on. There's a lot of talk about legislation and trying to deal with a lot of these issues, because the problem is that the errors don't just stay online. They cost people money. They cost people, open legal exposure, those types of things. And right now, research is showing that reputational risk tops AI risk concerns, and it's cited about 38% of major companies.
Okay, so how are consumers reacting to these AI misuses, and what's reputational fallout from them? Again, you gave those great examples there. It seems that they issue an apology and we just all move on. Is that the case?
That's typically the case. Right now, there's not a whole lot of recourse. A lot of the legislation that's out there, or the rules and laws that are out there, are really geared more towards the deep fakes, AI transparency. So most recently in California, they just passed a Senate bill that caused forcing AI companies to be able to have complete transparency. So if they're not exercising that transparency, then they're in violation of law.
Yeah, they're in breach. Okay, so what can companies do now to rebuild trust if and perhaps when AI goes wrong?
So when AI goes wrong, some of the things that they need to do, they need to act quickly. They need to try to figure out the source and where the misfire came from, and obviously try to take measures to make sure that doesn't happen. It's really good to have somebody come in that's an independent, to come in and look at your setups and to make sure that everything is moving, working smoothly. So that's one of the best courses of action, I think. And then once something like that happens, again, at this point now, you're doing damage control. So you've got to make sure that you're open and honest about what has happened, what the source was. If there's apologies that need to be made, obviously that's what needs to happen next.
Yeah, and of course this is new technology. We are stepping into a new era, and it is something that people are still getting their handle on. If people do want to connect and perhaps learn a little bit more about all of this, where's the best place to go to reach you, or perhaps someone from the team?
Yeah, so if somebody wants to continue the conversation with me, whether it's business leaders or somebody would like for me to come in and speak, they can reach me at my website, drdavismcallister.com. That's 1C1A1L. or they can email me at info@drdavis.
Davis, thank you so much for joining us on the program, running us through a bit about this. It's certainly something that I imagine we're going to see a little bit more of, but I appreciate your time on the program today, and hopefully we speak again.
Yes, sir. Thank you for having me on.